Welcome.
To the joy of coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 95 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley, going to be doing some Firefox stuff today. I am heavily caffeinated. It's going to be a good time. Let's see. What are we doing today? Well, welcome. Welcome to the episode. Welcome to episode 95. We're getting so close to episode 100. I'm really excited. That's part of the reason why this episode started slightly late, was I was preparing a form for people to fill out for my 100th episode, and I'll explain in just a second. Let me just share my screen. Here's my screen. Whoops, didn't mean to open Hopper. Sorry. Hey, I did buy a license. I'm just going to try the demo for now, but I did have a license for Hopper. What? Anyways, let's see what is going on today. So, this is the agenda. It's It's March 15th, 2017. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I'm hoping to kind of follow the path that's been laid out in here. I actually haven't really set much of a path, so I'm going to be making it up as we go, and that's kind of par for the course. But this document, these links that you're looking at right here, are actually available to you if you're watching this on Air Mozilla. Scroll down to the additional links section. There's a link for you there, along with a link to rate the episode and let me know how things are going. If you're watching this on YouTube, then it's in the video description. If you're watching this on Twitch, I'm about to drop it into the chat, and I'm going to do that right now. Hold up. Agenda. Boom. It's in the chat now. And the link to rate this episode. Boom. Also in the chat. And if you're watching this on Facebook, I've commented below, so you can get the links to these things. So what are we doing today? Well, first of all, I want to talk about the 100th episode. So this is 95 episodes in, give or take, because there are a couple of episodes where, like, they're missing. I either failed to record them or I didn't do them, but the number of the episode incremented anyway. So it's like the almost maybe 100th episode, give or take some margin of error. I'm calling it the 100th episode that's coming up. And what I want to do is something a little bit special. I might wear a funny hat. I might have better gear. I actually I've gotten a hold of a decent microphone, and it's going to take me a little while to calibrate it. I have some other uses for it first, but I'm hoping that I can start using a better microphone instead of this thing, which isn't the best quality. I can get like a really, really nice microphone, a mic stand with a pop filter, and we can get a nice sound. You can hear my voice clearly and without distortion. But the other thing I want to do is maybe work on a bug that is chosen by the community, chosen by the folks who are watching. And the way I'm going to do that is I went through Bugzilla, and I went and found a bunch of bugs in the Firefox product that have at least 50 votes. Now, votes aren't a super amazing measure of interest, except that they kind of are. When people sign up for Bugzilla, voting is one of the things that I think anyone can do with a default account, and you can sort of choose a bug and say, I want this, and you can vote on it. And that's a mechanism to prevent people from saying me too in a bug. You can express that as a vote. And people have like limited numbers of votes per, I think, year or something, and so they can distribute their votes. And I went and searched for bugs that have high numbers of votes, and I identified some that I could theoretically, realistically attempt to fix. Let me show you the form. Which bug? I actually get shareable link to the form. I think this is what I want to send people. Yeah, these are the bugs that I've identified, and let me just make sure that like I use a container here to see what it will look like for people who don't have the account. Yeah, so these are the choices. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to put in links for these bugs, but if you follow along, like maybe, is it possible for me to add a description? Maybe I can add a description. I'll do that, and that will have links and stuff. Let me just see if I can figure out how to do that. Add a, not a question. get out of here. I want to add text. Yeah. And get rid of this question. Description. Now, I want to see if it's possible for me to put links in here. So here's one of the bugs I'm considering that I'm putting out there as a maybe, which is allow hiding toolbars for presentations on OS X. So let me see if I can get a link to that bug in here looking snazzy. It looks like no, but let's give it a shot and see what it looks like for other people's point of view. Let's see. Hey, yeah, they do turn into links. Okay, good. So, here are the links to the bug reports. So, which bug? Okay, so I'm just going to finish putting this form out. I probably should have done this before the episode, but I'm going to do it now. Some of these are very, like, OS X specific. That's interesting. I had so many votes. I'm just going to boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop. So I can't promise that I'll fix the bug, but I can promise that I'll try to drive the bug to completion of some form, whether or not saying it's impossible, or it's going to get fixed by something else, or it's no longer valid. I will do the investigation and try and drive the bug to completion in an episode. If it's interesting enough, maybe it will be over several episodes. So that form is now done. Here are the links to the bug reports. And I'm going to drop this survey in the agenda. So here it is. 100th episode survey. So go ahead and click on that. And let me know what you think. I'll be taking votes until the 99th episode, and then, or up until the 99th episode, and then on the 100th episode, I'll announce what I'm doing, and then we'll just get started. So, on the 100th episode, you get to choose. So click on this. I'm going to get rid of this edit requested thing. We're going to just view form. And so yeah, fill that out and let me know what you think. So that's one thing. Boop. Leave, and go somewhere else. Okay. I want to give an update on the bug that we worked on, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where we were blanking out tabs instead of showing the spinner in certain situations. I wanted to show you that it really had an impact. So this is a graph showing, and it's a little hard to see. I don't think this graphing library responds to reflow very well. But this line here indicates the percentage of users with E10S enabled on nightly, so that's most of them, that have seen at least one spinner. And it doesn't say how bad those spinners are. Maybe that's a 50 millisecond, 10 millisecond spinner. Others, it might be multiple second spinners, so they're pretty bad. This really just sort of demonstrates how many see at least one. And so in a given day or a given build, we see that some people will see like 30. Well, we used to see, like, here in mid-February, we activated E10S Multi, which I think created an increased probability of seeing spinners because of the reason that we fixed earlier. And so we were seeing something like 45, 46, 45% of users, of clients, I should say, on nightly were reporting seeing at least one spinner. But after our bug landed, which was right here, there's this little marker, there's a drop. There's a little drop, and it dropped by about 6%. Right here, and you can see in the other graphs here, there's a nice big fall off here. There's some weird activity because it was just before the uplift, and during uplifts and merges and stuff, I think there was also, like, we stopped building nightlies for a couple of days or something because of some crash. But if you ignore the kind of noise in the graph around it, this is the interesting part with this nice drop. Not this spike, that's the noise I'm talking about. I'm talking about from here to here is a nice drop. And some of these other graphs don't really display that very well. I think I'm waiting. So some of these are measuring like the number of spinners that are seen normalized by the number of tab switches that occur in total. But because the data is still trickling in, the actual reading of it, I think the jury's still out a little bit on some of those measurements for some reason, because they come from a different source. These come from an IPython notebook I wrote myself, and so this I believe is a little more up to date. This was as of yesterday, and in fact, by the end of this episode, this might even update again, because they tend to update in the afternoon. Python notebook runs at like 8 a.m. and it takes until like now to update. We have a lot of data to crunch through for nightly. Anyway, so I thought that was kind of neat, seeing our work having an impact there. Hooray! That's a big hooray. Actually had an impact. Hooray! And so what I wanted to look at today was a different bug. I know the last couple of weeks we've been working on the IPDL Rust parser, but something a little more pressing landed on my lap today. Something that kind of worries me. I don't fully understand it, and I want to look at it. This is a bug that affects Linux users only, and it looks like it affects 54 and 55. And 54 is, I believe, Aurora. 55 is Nightly, so it's this is a bug that exists in Dev Edition and Nightly, and one I'm hoping that we can figure out before we go to release here. And I'm going to demonstrate the bug. It's a pretty bad one. So this affects only Linux users for some reason. I don't know why yet, but hopefully we can figure it out. Yeah, you can see my screen there. I'm going to run a build of Nightly on my VM. I'm actually going to make this a little taller. There we go. So I've got Nightly here. It's loading up. Done. Okay. Now, whenever we... oh, hey, look! Nightly is advertising my blog post. I have these blog posts that go to the Nightly blog, and in this case, I posted one yesterday about updates we're doing to Firefox, and they're linking to it now. That's kind of nice. Thank you for that. What I want to show you was the bug. So let me pull out from my history. History recent. Yeah, it was this. There was this lightweight theme that we apply. Are you ready for this? This is a lightweight theme. So this should just change the image behind the nav bar, and check out what's going to happen. I've got E2NS enabled. I mouse over the Add to Firefox, which is going to preview the image. We do that, and it previews the image, but then the tab goes blank, which is strange. But the page, like, we're not painting the content anymore, but the page still like acts like it's still there. Like, there are links up at the top. You see my cursor changing, and there's like a tooltip there for returning to the home page. So now it's just like we're not painting for some reason. I don't know why, and I want to find out. So let's figure it out, or let's try to figure it out. So what are we going to start with? Well, first of all, I want to see whether or not the bug has to do with the fact that maybe the browser, like, is it in the front end? Because if it's in the front end, I'd be able to detect or inspect this problem using like some of our front end dev tools. And so I want to test to see whether or not maybe the front end browser is not visible. So let us check that out. Now this is interesting. GPU process may have died. Do I have the GPU process enabled somehow? GPU. I accept the risk. Compositor. Where's the compositor process pref? Compositor process. Because I noticed that all these errors are showing up in the back. Crash, begin transaction, died. GPU process may have died. And I didn't realize that we had the GPU process running on Linux. So let's figure out, first of all, because that might have something to do with the bug, these errors that I'm seeing. Because look at them, look at them. They're like client layer manager. A layer is like all of those, basically the pixels that we send up from the content process that we've painted to the compositor thread or process. And in this case, it's saying the IPC channel is down. The GPU process may have died. So maybe that's what happened, that the GPU process died and never came back. And now I've got like a perma spinner here. Message was deserialized, but the handler returned false. And now I've got a perma spinner. That's bad. So maybe maybe there's like a legit bug here that we can reproduce. This might actually, if we fix this, I wonder if there are users who are seeing these long spinners like what I'm seeing right now, that we can address. We can get rid of some of these long spinners. This is good. I'm interested in this. So first of all, I want to know more about the compositor process. And I remember there was a compositor process bug. Process. Bootstrap, compositor, child. So I need to find the pref that enables the compositor process. Compositor process. Is there anything here in... I need to find compositor bridge parent, compositor bridge child, compositor pref. Let's see. Pref. Looking at some prefs here. No, not really. Not seeing any prefs that have to do with enabling the compositor process. Maybe there's something I can search with on the internet. Firefox compositor process. Quantum compositors land. Oh, here we go. E10S GPU. Enable the GPU process in nightly. That's what I want. I want this one. Thank you, Google. In Windows. So it was enabled in Windows. Layers GPU process was set to true if on Windows and nightly builds. So this shouldn't, unless that's changed. So that pref is gone. That pref is gone now. What happened there? Let's see if we can find some history in this file to see why that pref was removed. I'm being pinged as well. Let me respond. Hey, live hacking, is it cool if we have... Or shall I wait? Okay, so Mike DeBoer has pinged me. Hello. Welcome to the stream. What can I do for you? Okay, so is there anything in here about the history of, here, maybe you can see this a bit better, history of init all.js, the prefs file for the compositor. Enable restarting the GPU process when it dies. Goes back here. So back here, the still existed live hack. Well, I think you want to have it now. Your patch rutrow. What I do? Okay. Where would we have removed the prefs? So like when did we remove the GPU process one? So let's look here at this revision. Is it there? Is the pref there? If not, we'll bisect and we'll try and find where it was removed, so that we can understand who gets the GPU process and why. Process GPU. So yes, it's here. We need the GPU process prefs. So here it was set to true, and now we're going to go search. So they are still there. Okay. They were just renamed. And that happened in that revision. Okay, that's what happened. So we shouldn't have the GPU process unless we're on Windows. Interesting. You might want to update the function to be stab for... Oh, I see. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So Mike DeBoer is giving me a review, and he is absolutely right about what he's finding. Now, did I accidentally flip that pref? Because that might explain why I'm seeing these warnings. Whoops, I didn't mean to put that there. I meant to put that here. No. You're the best. Mind making that official? Okay. And thank you. So apparently, like, where? Let's look at about support. Asynchronous pan zoom, WebGL, all this WebGL stuff. GPU is active. Web render, unavailable. OpenGL compositing, unavailable. Hardware compositing, unavailable. And then there's all these failure logs. Begin transaction with IPC channel down. So is the content process even alive? Performance. This tab belongs to 43756. Yes, it's alive. It's right there. It's gone. Just means I don't have to ask. Just try and save you time, yo. Just trying to save him time. Okay, so that that is not helping. So we don't have the apparently we don't have a GPU process. And that's okay. That's expected. On Linux, we're not supposed to have a GPU process. So interesting. So let's see whether and the fact that we're painting this thing now, but we're putting the spinner in means like we're just not getting a frame. So this exercise I was doing before of like trying to see whether or not the problem's in the front end or the back end, we more or less answered that. The problem's in the back end. Like look at all these errors. This problem is definitely in the back end. So I'm going to shut down the browser. And then what I think we should do, I'm actually reminded of a different bug. And maybe we can take a look at that because thanks. Conversation over. So I want to look at that original bug. Permaspin. It was this one. I'm gonna link to it in the in my agenda. I'm actually gonna start some notes. I didn't have any notes before for this investigation. I'm gonna add some now. What's this bug number? Themes cause browsing failure. So active bug. New note. Whoops. Themes cause browsing failure. Okay. So this reminds me of and I have notes for that bug here. I think I have notes for that bug. Let's just double check. I don't have notes for that bug. But I did have some commentary in here where I was talking about things that were going wrong. Where was that? Here. I described how I'd gotten into the state with the perma-spinner despite the content process not being hung. Today I walked through the code to see what was going on. Here's what I know. The content process is responsive. That's exactly what we're seeing as well. The content process is responsive because we were seeing the memory reporter in the background, the about performance memory report. It actually, we got a value, which means that the main thread in the content process was alive to say, hey, this is how much memory I'm consuming. So other tabs within the same content process paint and are interactive. We didn't test that, but let's do that right now. Let's see if that's the state we can get in. Okay, so I'm going to open up another tab. Wow, the performance here just blows. It's like keyboard input is just the worst. I have a feeling this is an unoptimized build, which is why. Let me just double check. Yeah, I disabled optimization. So that's why it's kind of slow. Okay, so I've got this tab running in the background, and now I'm going to cause the problem. Boom, 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 boom. So that's, I'm going to play a sound for that. Oh, come on. That was a perfect opportunity. Okay, now this other tab also doesn't paint. No tabs paint. So this is a slightly different situation, which is interesting. Okay, so how did we get into this situation? How did we get into this situation? So, so let me copy the notes that I put in here. Oh, let me break this up a little bit. And I'm going to put that in here. Notes. This bug is slightly different though. If one tab gets broken like this, the rest just perma-spin. Spin. I'm also seeing errors in the console like this. Okay, so seeing errors in the console, and those are probably a clue as well when we're attempting to release a layer. Well, that's probably a symptom, like fallout from... So I'm going to try something else. I'm going to pay more attention to the console whenever we reproduce the issue. Let me close that. I don't need this anymore. So we're going to start this over again. We're going to pay more attention to the console exactly whenever the problem occurs, because maybe we've got some commentary in there, and if that's not enough, we can also try a debug build, because there might be some commentary in there as well. Debug builds have like assertions and stuff, and they might have some more clues. So let's see. Nothing. Oh, handler returned error code on release layer. So that's what we were seeing before. So let's see. What do I want to do here? I'm going to do two things. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off a debug build in the background. I'm pretty sure that goes into its own directory. Yeah, okay. I'm going to kick off a debug build in the background so that we can work with that in the event that we need to. We can maybe get some useful logging. Well, while we're waiting for that, we'll try and do our investigation on this non-debug build, this normal build, even though it's not optimized. Maybe we can attach GDB and start like poking around. So there are more clues in this bug. One of the things that Jared Wine, who pointed me at this bug, what he noticed was the particular theme has hash set as the accent color, which isn't a valid CSS color. This ends up causing the background color to be transparent. I'm not sure why this is breaking the content processes on Linux, though. They become the ETNS tab spinner throbber until the theme is changed through about add-ons. We do better validation, but it seems this to be covering up a larger problem. So for some reason, when we apply this lightweight theme, so let's see where in the lightweight theme consumer, like let's step through it and try and get to the point where lightweight theme consumer causes this problem to occur. We're just gonna like use the debugger, step through one at a time until we know the step in the front end that causes the back end to freak out, and then we're going to work in, like, go deep. We're going to go deep in the back end. And the other thing we could do is, if we still can't figure this one out, and maybe I should do this right now actually, is I'm going to sign into Hawkman, which is a local Linux machine that we've got in the office that has a tool on it called RR, which you may have heard me talk about. I'm going to have that start to do a build as well, because we can maybe reproduce in Hawkman, probably, because it's a Linux bug, and then we could like use time travel debugging. So I'm prepping all these things with the expectation that I'm not going to be able to solve this with normal debugging, because this looks particularly tricky, especially because we're dealing with multiple processes and like what might be some kind of race. I'm not sure yet, but I'm just trying to prepare myself for the possibility, the probability that this is going to be a tricky one. So let's pull that stuff down, then we'll kick off a build, and then we'll get back to the debug. Hold up, downloading the internet. Let's see. Is there anyone talking in the chat? How's my volume? I know that the volume last week wasn't so great. How's my volume this week? Hopefully it's pretty good. I wonder if anyone has filled in the form yet. I'm so like antsy. I'm so needy. Last modified by me, so no. There have been no forms. Okay, so that's going to take a little while to pull down updates, so I will get back to that. In the meantime, let's get back to our front end, working from the front to the back. And turn on the debugger, and then go to the lightweight theme consumer code and try and set a breakpoint whenever we want to preview a lightweight theme, because that we know that that's happening because we see the lightweight theme show up, and I assume that after we start doing the preview, that's whenever the problem seems to rear its head. So this is going to take a second to download all the sources. Again, this is a non-optimized build, that's why it's so slow. Lightweight theme consumer. Okay. So is there a preview handle event? Update. This update function I think is the one that actually does the work. So let's set a breakpoint here. Yeah, let's do it there. Okay, so now let us recreate the issue. We'll go to the add-on page. Okay, we've hit our breakpoint, and notice that our content is still painting. Things are still responding here. So nothing is, oh wow. Except that's not the case. Whoa, that's interesting. Why did it continue? I was supposed to... Where am I in the call stack here? Observe. I observed a styling update. And that was in the lightweight theme manager, so it's possible that I set my breakpoint too late. In preview theme, that's maybe where I should be. I should maybe be here. Set my breakpoint here. So let's set a breakpoint there. We'll continue. We're going to unset the preview. Actually, let's just start over. Let us just start over. Oh. So just for next time, we're going to be setting our breakpoint in the lightweight theme manager in preview. So let's do that again. Meanwhile, how's that poll going? Holy smokes. Oh, there we go. That's a little bit better. 30 seconds remain. Okay, yes, I want that. I want you to take over. Okay, so debugger again. That's going to take a second. Okay, and Hawkman has finished downloading the most recent code, so we're going to kick off a build. And I'm going to do this using screen so that I can detach and then reattach later. So hang on, let me just use screen. I assume I don't have a one to be resumed. No, okay. So screen. Screen. I think I now have it. Yeah, screen R. We're gonna mock build. Hopefully this will work. Let's just make sure that it works. I might have to like do a rust up or something. Meanwhile, over here, we're going to go into the lightweight theme manager, and it was preview that I want to set. Preview theme. This is where I'm going to set my breakpoint. And now we're going to go over here. Okay. Hover mouse. Hit the breakpoint. Still alive. Nothing broken yet. Oh, you know what? It did break because I'm screwing it up. That's what's happening. I'm screwing up the test procedure by testing because for some reason we re-enter. We're like re-entering preview theme. We're like spinning the event loop there. And I'm screwing up the test procedure. So let me once again start over. And I do have to do a rust up here. What? What do you want me to run? Rust up. Rust up update. Okay, now build. Now lightweight theme manager. So now are you building? If so, I will detach, and then we will reconnect to you later if we need you. Hawkman. Oh, come on. I'm doing so many things at once. Oh, Simon says volume is good, and hi, Mike. Hey. Hi. How's it going, Simon? Good to see you. Okay, so let's set a breakpoint again at preview theme. And let's just assume, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cause the bug by hovering the mouse and now let's see what happens. Cancel is false, so we send this notification. What is this notification? I'm hesitant to I want to be careful where I put my mouse. I don't want to accidentally trigger the bug. Okay, we say that a theme preview has been requested, and we send that notification. Still working. Still working. If we're canceling, no. If there's a preview timer, so we're going to create a timer, and then there's a preview timer callback. And what's the preview timer callback? Preview timer callback. Okay, interesting. So after some number of seconds, we'll get rid of the preview. So we initiate that, and then we notify Windows with the data. Lightweight theme styling update. We're going to notify the observers about that. And here's one. Here's one where we will set timeout infer from text. Okay, what's another one? Is there another thing that we'll do on lightweight theme styling update? And that's the one. The infer from text seemed to do it. At least it did. So let's see if that's the one. We're going to set a breakpoint now in infer from text. So I'm going to shut this down. Infer from text. That was here. And toolbar icon color. That's this thing. And what was calling it was this set timeout here. So we're going to set a breakpoint and infer from text. Okay. Okay, so this build is cooking along on Hawkman. I'm going to detach. So if we need him, we'll come back later. Yeah, do it. Okay, so debugger. Just downloading all the sources. Come on now. There we go. Okay. So browser.js is where infer from text is. So infer from text. I should definitely have an optimized build next time. I don't know why it was unoptimized. I have a feeling that was from previous work that I had been doing. I need an unoptimized build. Aha. That's annoying. Anytime we change the focus of the browser, we will call infer from text. So we're always going to hit that. So I'm actually going to modify the code so that that's not the case. So sorry, we gotta quit again. We're gonna quickly modify the code. Infer from text. I'm gonna comment that out so that we don't always call it, and then I'm gonna add that so it will automatically break there. And now mock build faster. And now run. Whoops, no, that's not run. That's run. How's the stream health? Green. 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 That's good. That's a big thumbs up right there. Okay, so I'm going to allow you to show up. You will connect. Okay, so now I believe infer from text should happen automatically, and we'll hit that breakpoint. You know what? I'm a little paranoid. I thought we would have hit it by now, and I would have felt better. I'm gonna now set it manually just to make sure, because I'm paranoid. I don't want to have to go through all this all over again. How's our debug build going, by the way? Oh, lovely. Rust up update. That's yet another thing. Wait, what? Rust compiler not found. I've definitely built on this machine. Rust up command not found. Mock bootstrap. Oh, I need to run this thing. Yeah, and I have to add that to like my... yeah, there we go. So for next time, so now we're going to build, and it should find Rust. Yeah, okay. So I should definitely add that to my bash RC. Okay. I must have done that last time, but failed to put it into my bash RC, which is why this other shell was breaking on me. Okay, so now in browser.js, I'm going to look for what I put in, this debugger thing, which would have been, I think, I'm always so paranoid. I think it would have been hit by default, like by automatically, but I just want to double check. I'm going to set the breakpoint because I don't want to have to do this all over again. Okay, so now we go and reproduce the issue. Ooh, fancy. All right, you ready? Reproduce issue. Hey, still caused it, even though I haven't called it infer from text yet. That's so weird. Where did the... So I think where the actual like image gets set is where the problem is. It's not the inferring from the text. It's where the image is getting set. So I think I need to understand more about how Lightweight Theme Manager works. Whenever we preview a theme, we say, hey, we're requesting a preview. And no one even listens to that, so it's okay. Unless there's preview requested. Is there like, no. And then we say notify Windows of the data. And notify Windows will send the styling update. And that's what we were following around with before. So browser compact theme will hear it. Lightweight theme consumer will hear it. So let's see if it's lightweight theme consumer. And then update. Send request, event dispatcher. What is event dispatcher? Messaging. Send request. The heck is all this stuff? Event dispatcher, a lightweight theme update. So something's going to respond to something called a lightweight theme update. Oh, wait. This is all Android stuff. So I'm in the wrong place. That's Android. Lightweight theme styling update here. And then yeah, this is the stuff that we were dealing with before. I wonder. So what exactly happens? We get at the data, we get the header URL, the footer URL, the text color, and the accent color. We remove the text color, remove the accent color. We set the property lightweight theme accent color to be data.accent color or white. And what did Jared say? That the accent color is the hash symbol. And then we create a dummy element, and when we calculate the luminance, we say yes. So something about setting the lightweight accent color to the hash symbol is screwy. So whereas the background color on the browser is that value, can I reproduce this behavior? Like, if I set a variable to some broken CSS, what happens? I wonder if that's the problem. Because, like, all of our bindings and stuff, the XBL bindings are bound using CSS. So if maybe we're injecting some garbage CSS, it's just breaking all our bindings. Like down here, where we set the remote browser binding. So one thing we could do, I'm going to try an experiment. It's experiment time. It's experiment time. Browser base content browser.css. It's experiment time. I'm going to, so all these rules where we set the lightweight theme color and stuff, I'm going to put that below all of these. At the very bottom. Now let's see if that might actually fix it. And if it does fix it, then I think I know why. And I'll explain in just a second. And we won't need the JS debugger for this one. Okay. So let us reproduce the issue. Loading it off the network. A scooba doo doo ba doo doo doo. So if I'm right, this should no longer break us in the same way. Oh, I'm wrong. I am wrong. I am wrong. So we are still broken in the same way. Maybe there are other places, though, where we were using it that are important. OSX, that wouldn't apply. Accent color. Well, here's what I want to, here's my theory, or here's what I thought was going on, and maybe we can see whether or not the properties of what I think are going wrong are, if I'm even in the right ballpark. So suppose we have a box. I'm going to have this box, my box, and it's going to just be this one lone element, and it's going to be background color blue, and then it's going to have a width of 100 pixels and a height of 200 pixels. Okay, so we have this box. Let's make that a square, actually. Now suppose we have a button below the box. Input type equals button, ID equals click me, value equals click on me. Okay. Display inline block. No. Or input display block. What am I trying to do here? Well, regardless, that's what I wanted to do. Is I've got this thing. Now suppose I use some CSS variable to say background color, but I'm going to use a CSS variable. So var, yeah, something like that. Important. Now in this case, LWT accent color is nothing, but set property root document. So if I go like document element set property LWT accent color, I should be able to set it to like red or something. Will that make it red? No. LWT accent color. Did I do that right? LWT set property. Programmatically set CSS variables. That's what I'm trying to do ultimately. Polymer. I don't want to do with Polymer. CSS variable. Apply CSS definitions. No. Change CSS variable JavaScript. Maybe that is better. Update CSS variables with JS. That's exactly what I want. So how does he do it? He goes on change, then document element dot style. dot style. Run. There we go. Okay, so that is what is supposed to happen in the right case. Now, what if I put in just a hash? It doesn't set the background color of blue, but we still have the background color, or we still have the border, we have the width, we have the other styles being properly applied here. So what I thought was happening was that the rest of the rules were just, we weren't applying them anymore. But that's not the case. In this case, the background color should just not work. And so I think my theory might be wrong. How's our debug build going? Still going. How about on Hawkman? Let's just check. Done. Hey, all right. Well, let's see what happens now. Can I display one mock run? Can't open display one. Okay. Display two mock run. So now we'll connect to Hawkman. Okay, so now if I go to that URL, I want to reproduce it here, and then maybe next time I'll use RR. So let's first of all make sure that we can reproduce the problem here. Yes, we can. That's good. So we'll quit, and now we'll use RR. Now I just have to remember how to recording Firefox. RR, recording test suites, smoky test, RR, mock monkey test. So just RR, and then RR obj x86 dist bin Firefox. So it's saving it to trace 100. Oh, and is it running? It is running. Okay, so now let us go back to that address. What was that address? Whoa, what's going on here? Oh, exception handler, input extension. Yeah, I remember this. So I need to modify. Shoot, I need to modify default. That thing. I need this, and then build again. That's just the thing we need in order to work with RR, apparently, lately. So, while we're waiting for that, back over here, debug build still cooking, and my theory is bunk. So what I'm going to resort to a different tactic, which is some logging. Because I don't think the debugger is going to help us much here, because so much stuff can still happen even though I'm technically in a breakpoint. So let's see. Setting text color to text color. Dump setting accent color to okay. Attribute. Dump telling everybody that we've updated. Okay. Let's try that. That's still going. Our Hawkman build is done, so let's try that again. So 101. That's going to be our Hawkman RR run. We're going to run this one. Is it still breaking for some reason? No, still seems to be okay. I think. No. Some kind of dump. Let's try this again, but this time I'm going to start it in safe mode. And we're going to go to mozilla.org. See, I think it's freaking out because there's the immediate destruction of some session state. And I'll bet after a while it'll sort it out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the session state. Previous. And then recovery. So now we shouldn't have any session. So now run it. It shouldn't attempt to give us any kind of session. Session restoration attempt. Meanwhile, over here, we're going to be logging when we recreate this bug. So let's see what happens. It did show me this sort of session thing. Man, okay, well, was there other session stuff that I failed to... And the upgrades... Where else? There's nothing there. And then... Session... Checkpoints I'm going to get rid of. We do so much work to try and not lose your session that whenever I finally want to lose a session, it's actually really hard. Okay, let's see what happens here. Boom. Telling everyone that we updated. And that works for a little while, and then it just goes white. Not sure why that is. Is it because we like detach and reattach bindings? That's a theory. Maybe we're destructing and reconnecting the the XBL bindings for the browsers. Let's find out. Toolkit, content widgets, remote browser. There should be a destructor. Remote browser is going away. So I'm going to log there. Build faster. Meanwhile, yay, this has worked. So now I'm recording, and I'm recording in 104. And we're going to reproduce the bug. And that bug is linked to here. Or this is the link that I want to go to here. That's what I'm trying to say. Oops. Oops. Okay. We have now reproduced the issue. And now I'm quitting. So now we have this trace in 104. So now I can do, how do I replay again? It's like RR replay. Replay. Maybe it's just like a path. Our Firefox 104. Is that it? Yeah, invalid. Unprocessed debugger. Trace. No. Our replay. I think it'll use the last one as the one it loads. Let's see. Did it get 104? Hard to say. I have no idea. Doesn't even tell me. But okay, I have an RR here. So what I should be able to do actually is set a breakpoint in, let's see, what do I want to do? Well, I'm actually curious to know if this one will show us that we're destroying the browsers. Because that would give us a big clue as to what's going wrong, as we're destroying and then recreating a bunch of XBL bindings, which would be probably related. Okay. Whoop. No, that's not it. Don't want that one. Go away, other Firefox. Minimize. There, even better. What's going on here? Come back to life. Okay. I really like this debug build. I feel like that's going to give us some clues, some useful clues. I mean, we have this RR replay now. I'm just trying to figure out where best to set a breakpoint. Telling everyone we've updated. No, we don't destroy. Apparently, we don't destroy the XBL bindings. That's good to know. So maybe we can set a breakpoint inside one of these. Release layer. But let's do it. You know what? I'm going to take another recording, actually. I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to do it slightly differently. I'm going to, under Toolkit Modules, Lightweight Theme Consumer, update. Down here, I'm going to say math sign. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that I can step through, like I'm going to set a breakpoint on math sign, which isn't called normally in the front end here. Actually, whoop. I think I have to build this. Come on now. There we are. Okay. So, cause the bug, quit. Okay. Now we'll replay. Break, JS, math sign, run. Or continue. So the program will start, and then we'll hit our breakpoint. We'll know we're at that point in the replay where we hit math.sign. Meanwhile, over here, still building our debug build, and still no clues. I wonder if there are certain things we can skip. Like, whoops, I didn't mean to detach. Like, if I don't set the BIM, toolkit, modules, lightweight, theme, consumer. If I don't set the accent color, I would assume that that's going to, based on what Jared wrote in the bug. Oh, here we go. Thread received, real time. What? Real-time event. 38. Sig 38. I don't think I care about that. Continue. I wanted math sign. Okay. So we are inside some response to attaching the binding when the window first starts up. We're still starting up the window, I think. So this isn't the time that we care about. It's the second time that we care about. So build faster. Okay, now we've hit it again, and this is where we care about. And here, let me just run here. So what I care about are things like, does the layer manager in the, well, where am I? Firing the lightweight style theme update. Good. Due to some JavaScript. And that JavaScript as we've observed, we've been asked to preview the theme. And the accent color is pound. Okay. So we haven't actually hit the problem yet. We're in the state where we might hit the problem. And where am I? I want to know when am I. When. I want like usage. Replay. I want like to know when I am. When. And yeah, it doesn't know. A diversion? Current event not known. Diversion? That's not useful. I want more hints. Hints about what's going wrong. Not setting the accent color still causes the problem, apparently. That's interesting. What things do we have to get rid of before the bug goes away? That's a way of narrowing in on this. Like if I just return early from here, does the bug still occur? Meanwhile, over here, what do I want to do? We've received the message. Okay, I want you to update. Is something going to go wrong with the content process? The layer manager? Where do I want to set my breakpoint? Where? Because I don't actually know where the problem is. Well, I could do it in... So NS frame loader has some functions that might be useful here. Are we like rebinding? Attach to nsFrameLoader.h. What are your functions? nsFrameLoader, what's your function? Show, hide. Maybe let's see if it's destroyed. Break nsFrameLoader, nsFrameLoader. Continue. Nope. It's not hit. Now I'm at 205.508, and I think this is whenever we say no, like we've taken the mouse off. So the bug has already occurred maybe at this point. Release. Okay, and now where am I? Our refresh driver, we cycle collector, we got rid of the frame loader. Message release layer. Layer transaction. Message was deserialized with handler return false. Release layer in the parent side. Release layer. Receive release layer. Layer transaction parent. Let's go back up there. Break. What's the namespace? Name Mozilla layers. Reverse, continue. Okay, so we received some message. PA handle, some handle. Does it contain it? IPC fail. So the layer map doesn't contain the handle value. PM layer map dot contains a handle dot value. Optimized out. But we know that that must be true because I have a handle. Or I had a handle. So cannot evaluate function PM layer map. Entry size 24. It's inside it. A hash table. called mtable table, and there are 14 entries. NST hash table. Does it have a function I can go NST hash table? Generate keys. Put entry contains. I think that's what we're using before. Contains. Cannot evaluate. It might be inlined. But because I know that we have a handle and the value, do you have just like 34? Can I say that? Cannot find method. We have, so it was removed. So why was it removed from the layer map is a good question. That's a thing we could try and answer here. So getting rid of all of that stuff seemed to cause the bug to go away. So that's good to know. So I can start putting some stuff back. So for example, what about here? Mock run default. Okay, so when is the layer map, when do we get rid of a handle? mlayer map dot remove, is that one? What? Iterate contains put get and remove. We'll have removed it. So maybe we received a release layer earlier on with the same handle. So let's look. Reverse continue. Do we receive one that has handle 34? PA handle 33. 3. 7. 8. 4. 32. You know, one thing I could do is I could use like a conditional breakpoint to do all this work. So I didn't actually see it go away. It was never called with 34. Maybe it was never added. So that's one. So put bind layer to handle. So let's put a breakpoint. Be Mozilla layers layer transaction parent bind layer to handle. So we're looking for 34. A handle, M handle. So B, what do I want to say? Break at there, and how do I do conditional breakpoints in GDB again? Conditional breakpoints. If, okay, yeah, of course. If a handle dot m handle equals 34. So, and then disable breakpoint 34. All right, disable breakpoint 4. So now, first continue. Do we ever PA handle 48? I also want to break on receive release layer. And then disable 3. Math science. We hit the first one, so that's, I don't know if that's enough yet, but let's continue. And for here, we're going to restore our previous session. No, not there. We're going to go to, I don't know why it's going there. Oh, probably because I attached to the wrong profile. That's okay. And it's 2:33. I want to end this episode soon, but I'd like to have an answer here. Add a mobile. Why do you think I'm mobile? For some reason I'm on the mobile website. That's weird. Let's copy this one instead. Add to Firefox. So this is not breaking things, it seems. It's interesting. Okay, good to know. So let's put a little more back. But let's comment out the setting of some of those properties and the theme color and the theme. Okay. Now, what was I doing in here? Fatal. So continue, run. Continue, run. What? Quit. Let's try that again. And let's put our breakpoints back where they were, because I liked those breakpoints. Break at bind layer to handle 34. If a handle.m handle equals 34. And then at this one, release layer, if a handle.m handle equals 34. Continue. And let's see what happens. So, not broken yet. That's good. Alright, let's slowly start putting stuff back. Let's not return early. Whoops, didn't mean to exit, but okay. Meanwhile, continue. It's 2:37. We're binding. Okay, so we hit a bind. That's good. PA handle. So we're binding 34. Great. And where are we? We're receiving a message, some kind of update message on some background thread. Okay. Continue. And we've been asked to release that layer. Now what's thread 1 doing? We were asked to release this layer. PA handle, M handle, 34. We're asked to release this layer. And then are we asked to release it again? If so, then I want to look at the thing that then we're asked again. PA handle, M handle. We're asked to get rid of it again. Okay, good. So why are we asking to get rid of release layer? Something must be sending a request to release a layer twice. Release layer. And that is going to be happening down in the content process, I believe. Break in shadow layer forwarder. If a handle dot m handle equals 34. Run or continue. So let that cook. And now we're going to restore this one. Is our debug build done yet? Not quite, but almost. Let's see what happens. Are we going to break? We did not break. So one of the lines we commented out seems to be contributing or is a dependency of the bug. Great. Let's start putting those back. Let's put this one back. I don't need to keep closing it. So I've put this one back, the lightweight text color. Release layer. Okay, yeah, I've been asked to release the layer 34. And where am I? I'm in the content process, probably. Printing updates to paint. And then I've been asked to remove some stuff. There, display list, paint root, paint frame. I was asked to paint the root. And there's no JS on the stack. So something says, hey, I need to release this layer because of something, and I don't know why that is. Paint frame, paint existing transaction, paint because of some update. Something triggers a paint. What is it? probably one of these attribute changes over here. Okay, so nothing going on there. Now I'm going to put that attribute back. And then we're probably told to do it again, right? No, we don't tell it to do it again. I am pretty mystified at this point. In a way, what I'm trying to do here with I'm working at this problem from two ends because there's time to do that in between all of my different approaches. I have to do all these build steps. Aha! And that triggers the problem. Okay. So let's quit. So what I just commented out was this. The setting the lightweight theme to true. Now, what if I get rid of that? The accent color. And then what about the image? Where's the image? Optimize, and then where does the image get set? Here we set the image. Let's get rid of those. I don't know what to do here with our RR. Because while I've got, it's almost like it's a needle in a haystack. We finally have a haystack. We know our needle's in it, but I need a magnet. I need to find the needle. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to wrap this episode up in about 5 minutes, but this is a very interesting bug. And I don't feel like I'm super close to figuring it out just yet. This is frustrating. Okay. That's interesting. Not even setting the images was required. Just setting the lightweight theme attribute may have been all that's needed. I don't set the lightweight theme color. I just set lightweight theme to true, so I wonder if that's all it takes. So actually, let's try that. Lightweight theme color. Set attribute root LW theme true. Let's see what happens when I do that. And why isn't this true for another interesting question, why is this not true for OS X and Windows? Why is this only true for Linux? element set attribute true. See, that broke it. That's all I needed to do. Was I need to set LW theme to true. That was enough. And now completely hosed. Okay. And now if like I try and go somewhere, I permaspin. Can't even click on stuff. Yeah, I permaspin. Just even attempting to attach a lightweight theme. That's so interesting. Okay, so let's figure out what we know about the LW theme attribute. Azul document. If we know that Azul document, we check here whether or not there's a lightweight theme. After set attribute, we'll do these things after it's been set. We'll do update title bar foreground and update title bar. Okay. And over here, restyle hint, restyle subtree. Okay. If root is content. What if I get rid of all of the rules that have to do with so hang on. Revert toolkit modules theme consumer. What if I get rid of all of the rules that have to do with lightweight themes? Like the window dragging thing. Main window, will not do that. Let's comment all of those out. And then in browser themes Linux, browser, is there any lightweight theme stuff here that here we're gonna get rid of a bunch of these. URL bar, we'll get rid of this too. Just like shotgunning it. The toolbars. Oh wait, that's a knot, so we want that. Want to keep the knots. I may have done enough of them. Let's see. After theme focused. Okay, let's try that. So So now we're on a we're cooking, or at least we have a lead. Okay. Okay, so that didn't break us. So one of the CSS rules that we've commented out is triggering the problem. So now it's a matter of putting some of those back, and seeing which one it is. So let's start by shelving just the Linux ones. Let's just shelve the Linux ones. Browser, themes, Linux. I have a meeting at 3 o'clock. I've only got like 8 minutes. Ooh, come on. Hurry up, Mike. Hurry up, Mike. Okay, so that's good. So thankfully, it's not one of those rules. It's one of the simpler rules. It was one of the rules in browser-based content browser.css. It's one of these. Let's put the dragging one back. What else could it be in here while I'm looking? The position, the color in the image, and then the root things. Actually, one thing I could do is I could start, if I can open up the, wow, that might be slower. Okay, so it wasn't any of the ones I just commented out, wasn't that one. So let's put another one back. Let's put this one back, the background repeat. Just fumbling. Hey, we've got our debug build. Too late though. That took forever. It took like 40 minutes. It's ridiculous. It's because it's in my virtual machine. Ubuntu virtual machine. Okay. That one's still okay. All right. How about this one? Setting the background color with lightweight theme footer. 4 minutes until my meeting. I'm really going to cap it off really shortly. I just want to find out what the CSS rule is. Still good. All right. So it's one of these. Still good. So it must be the last one. Let's confirm. Background color and background image. And then we're done. And if so, then we found a smaller, so it's not, we haven't found the cause of the bug, but we've narrowed down where the bug likely is, which will help figure out the problem. So let's see if this causes the issue. It does. So unsurprising there. So now let's put one of these out. Let's just set the accent color. So that breaks it. Yeah, it's just setting the accent color here, regardless of where it is in the rules. Just attempting to set the accent color to be something that is, I think, nonsense, because I don't know what LWT accent color is in the context of there is no lightweight theme applied. But we will find out, or I will find out, hopefully in the future. If you're interested in following along, I will be putting my notes in here as I work on this bug, and you should follow along in the bug, because I'll be posting a patch, hopefully, once I figured it out, or at least a report in the bug to say what we need to do in the future. Hey, thanks so much for watching episode 95 of The Joy of Coding. Thanks for being there with me. I know that was a little frustrating, but hey, that's life. And, join me for episode 96 next week. And vote. Vote for which bug I should work on in the 100th episode. The form to do that is in the agenda. Go check it out. And and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.